Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Yes, I'm recording the same night as Nagisa. Just had to rewatch the video. Anyway, yeah, we left off with Nagi. No, fuck. We left off with Tatsume waking up in the pub. Alright, so Ice King and him can't communicate, so yeah. Also, I gotta show you something. This is pretty much what Tatsume's hood looks like. This is what he walks around with. Yeah. So let's get it. Alright, so yeah. Tatsume is walking around 3 days after that when he gets a little like memory of him needing to meet somebody at a pub as Sub-Zero. So he gets in his hood and mask and he activates Ice King Eyes, but Ice King is not in control at the moment. Let's just say you can turn it on and off, but it'll go Snow White when Ice King is active. So he goes to the pub and he's just sitting there, you know. He's just sitting there when Leone walks up and sits next to him on the table. He says, "Hey, hotshot. So, thanks for meeting me. I assume the kid told you." So, not Tatsume, like, nods his head. Alright then. You think we can go somewhere more private? I have some intel for you. Sub-Zero stands up and walks out of the pub after leaving some money to pay for his drink. Leone follows. So they're in an alleyway now, and let's say that this is where Leone starts talking. So, I was wondering on what your opinion of the capital is. He says, it's a wretched place with too many insects. It needs to be cleaned out. Repaired, you could say. So, Leona says, my thoughts exactly, which is why I came to ask you. Would you like to join Night Raid? Tatsume says, depends. Who would I be killing? Leone says, well, for starters, the minister. Alright, just pretend. Alright, so he's the minister. The minister, Diablo, and what else were some people? General bad guys. You know the thing. Oh, here, let me think of another name. Oh yeah, also, as death. Tatsumi says, no can do then. Mayone says, really? Sure you won't change your mind? Tatsumi says, there are some people on that list that I just can't kill. Mayone says, that's a shame. Tatsume is then wrapped in, like, thread, and Akame comes out of nowhere, and attempts to stab him while Mine is charging a shot with Pumpkin. Now, the shot's about to collide at the same time as Akame's sword, and the threads are holding them in place. So, Tatsume freezes the threads and surrounds his body in a thin shell of ice. And then after freezing the threads, he manipulates the ice to loosen them. He gets his arm unstuck and creates a shield in his hand and blocks the pumpkin shot. He then grabs Akame by the throat and freezes her hand let's say he freezes the blade of her sword. He says, listen here, Night Raid. I am willing to negotiate, but you're gonna have to loosen up on that list. Leone says, fine. What do you want? Tatsume says, I want complete immunity for one person. Can you do that? Leone says, you've got yourself a deal, Sub-Zero. Who is it? He says, General Esdeath. You kill her, and I'll kill all of you. He lets go of Kame. And, generally unfreezes most of the stuff. And he says, here. He throws a crystal and says, smash this when you need my help. I'll be there. And he goes back to the castle. He knocks on Esdeath's door and she opens it. He walks in. He says, General, I was wondering if we could talk. She says, well, come in. They sit down at a table, and Esdeath pours him a cup of coffee. Not warm or anything, just room temperature, same as hers. And he says, well, I was hoping we could talk about... And then Esdeath cuts him off and says, Tatsume... No, Sub-Zero, I was wondering if I could be forward with you for a moment. He says, be my guest. Esdeath says, I've had a thing for you for a while, and I was wondering if you would consider a relationship. And Tatsume says, may I ask you why? Esdeath says, your cold-hearted nature, the fact that you are one of the most powerful ice wielders in the world. And the fact that you can still smile. Because let's say Tatsume's laughed in front of Esdeath a couple times. And I've had a crush on you for about 2 years now. Tatsume's like, well, it's a lot to take in, but it was actually what I came to see you about. And Tatsume explains that since, he's lost his, I guess you could say, mortality, because unless he's killed, his body will go into cryostasis, and, he won't be able to die. His body will be repaired by ice, which is one of the abilities of Ice King. Unless you're killed, you cannot die, I guess, cryosleep. He explains that ever since he lost his mortality, Esdeath is the only warmth he's ever felt. Because, yeah. So Esdeath, reaches across the table and pats Tatsume's head and says, I am going to enjoy this. He takes off his mask and his hood and says, I hope I do as well, and smiles. And then his eyes go back to green. Actually, no, let's say they're an ocean blue. So after that, a couple days pass, and Esdeath and Tatsume, get a pretty good relationship. And in the capital, they're known as, like, legit, the royal, like, the unit you send out when you need to get shit done. They're like, the most notorious. Yeah. If you see Esdeath and Sub-Zero walking, because let's say Tatsume is taller than Esdeath, so it's just like, yeah. If you see Esdeath and Tatsume, you bow your head, or you're probably gonna get fucking decked by Sub-Zero, because the Minister told Sub-Zero to not make sure that everybody stayed in line and showed proper manners when their superiors are around. So, at this point, Tatsume's out with Esdeath about to conquer the Ice Tribe in the anime, from where the anime is. And as they're doing this, Esdeath sends Tatsume out on his own mission to explore a ruin, because she's fairly confident she can handle this by herself. She wants to impress her man. So he's out exploring a ruin, and while he's in the depths of the ruin, he feels a strange presence. And let's say the ruin held an artifact. So as he picks up the artifact and he starts walking out, he's kicked in the head. And he's sent flying into a wall, and it leaves a crater. Now, he pushes himself out of the wall, and he sees a tall man. No, yeah, he sees a tall man in yellow and black, and a yellow and black outfit, wearing nearly identical clothes to him, with white eyes. The man throws a fireball at Tatsume, and Tatsume tries to encounters with an ice shuriken, I guess. But his ice melts, and he's hit and thrown into the wall, and he's hit and thrown back. He's thinking, okay, what the fuck's happening? Oh, also, I'm changing something. It's no longer the Thunder King, it is the Shadow King. Don't ask me why. I don't care. Yes, it's Shadow King. So it's Thunder, Nether. No, it's fucking Imperial, Nether, Shadow, and Ice. So the man holds his hand out and points at Tatsume and says, "You will either die here or leave victorious. I wish you luck, mortal." And then he disappears into hellfire and appears behind Tatsume. Tatsume uses his ice barrier and is pushed back a lot. And then Ice King activates, and he stands tall as he looks at the attacker. The attacker says, "Ah, there you are, my friend. Or should I say brother?" Ice King says, "Don't speak of me that way, you filthy wretch. Go back to the nether realm where you belong." And as you can guess, this is Scorpion. You know my name, Scorpion. It's what this one's gained in the past few years I've owned him. It appears yours has gained quite a reputation as well. Although, that may come to an end soon. Sub-Zero, which I'm gonna be calling instead of the Ice King. Sub-Zero says, "You bastard." He then runs at him and grabs a stick off the ground as he's running. Wait, no, yeah, grabs a stick. And right as Sub-Zero and Scorpion are about to clash, Sub-Zero makes an ice sword out of the stick and slashes towards Scorpion. When Scorpion blocks, Sub-Zero lets go of the ice sword and punches with both hands in his chest, freezing him. He then kicks him in the temple, sending him into a wall, and using Freeze Ray, and freezes the wall solid. He then uses Flash Freeze and freezes the entire room, making Hellfire not usable, so Scorpion's kind of fucked with his elemental ability. He flooded the air with nitrogen too, so currently Scorpion cannot survive in that environment. But Sub-Zero is drained, so he's just sitting there, and he lets Tatsume take control again. And when Tatsume wakes up, he's sitting in the enclosed room and gasping for air. He realizes he has burn marks on his He has burn marks on his chest. So he covers it with a bandage and puts his armor back on, and he walks back to the camp with the artifact. By the way, the artifact was minor invisibility. It lets you maybe turn invisible for 5 minutes. So yeah, Tatsume gets back to Esdeath's camp, and Esdeath has conquered the nation by now. And he gives her the artifact and says, "No trouble at all." Later that night, Esdeath and Tatsume are in bed, not doing the hanky panky, just sitting there laying down. And Tatsume takes off his shirt, and Esdeath sees the bandages and says, "What's that about?" Tatsume says, "Oh, it's nothing. Just got cold where I was." Esdeath immediately gets up and rips the bandages off him. And Tatsume's like, "What are you doing?" Esdeath's like, "You get cold, please." And Esdeath sees the burn marks, which are still like sizzling. But Tatsume's cold counteracts it, so it's not hurting many. And Esdeath says, "What the fuck happened to you? This looks recent." Esdeath says, "I ran into a king. And apparently a powerful one at that." Esdeath says, "What do you mean a king?" "It's about time I told you, I guess." Esdeath sits Tatsume down. No, Tatsume sits Esdeath down and says, "There are 4 kings. The Imperial King, using the Imperial arms, our Royal Imperial arms. I am the Ice King. I use the Royal arms. There are 4 kings: the Imperial King, the Nether King, the Shadow King, and the Ice King. I am the Ice King. I had a clash with a fellow king today, and it so happens that it was one of the strongest kings that this one could have faced. He counteracts my abilities, but so I counteract his. It's a stalemate in most cases. Very rarely does one kill the other." Esdeath gets it and says, "That makes sense. But here, let me help." Esdeath fucking freezes Tatsume's wound, and they get in bed and lay down. Cuddle. That's it. Don't fucking be thinking shit. Not the hanky panky hasn't begun yet. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna end it, and we'll get back to it next time with some night raid missions. Maybe the night raid wouldn't pick out who Tatsume is. Oh my god. Yawns. Big yawns, my guys. Alright, anyway. It's good seeing y'all. Peace out. This has been What If Tatsume with Sub-Zero. Y'all been the Legion. I'm the dual-wielding demon. We are ASMA. If you like the video, comment. And fuck, if you like the video, like. If you got some criticism for me, comment. And fuck, I don't know. If you think it's worth it, subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notifications when my shit comes out, cause it's random as fuck. Anyway, have a nice day, y'all. No idea when I'm uploading this. Peace out.